Because somebody from their window, somebody from their porch, somebody from their street corner is looking for the validation for the righteous grade that they experience in their body to know that they too can express it as they need to. So, when Christina said that we're not outnumbered, we're out-organized, tonight we have to be organized. Tonight we have to ensure that we make a message very clear. We have demand, and you keep talking to us about keeping the peace. You keep talking to us about the condition of your building. You keep talking to us about how you have to board up your building. If you want peace, you better meet these motherfucking demands. Because where there is no justice, there will be no peace. Where there is no justice, there will be no peace. Where there is no justice, there will be no peace. So if you're concerned about peace, if you're concerned about our building, but you're not concerned about our lives, there will be no peace. In our black bodies, you already disturbed us. So now that our peace is disturbed, your peace will be disturbed.
Whoa!
So let me go. I'm bringing this around up here because I want to make it clear that we're moving as one band, one sound. I want to make it clear that as we have people all throughout this crowd and all along this route that we're going to watch, either you're in the band or you're not. Because if you're not, I can guarantee you, you're on your own. And there are people throughout this crowd and along this route, if you are not a part of this band, you are on your own. The only way that you're going to maintain and build solidarity to move us where we need to go, we need to move as one band, one town. We need to move as one band, one town. And so we will make these directions clear. We will communicate how we will move. And when we move, we need you to fall in line. We need you to trust the process. We need you to move with conviction through these streets. And we need you to remember what has been said on this hill tonight. Ashe? Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Give her a hand.
First of all, before I say anything, can you raise your hand if you were out there on the bridge last night when we got tear gas? Can everybody please give it up for all of us, please? When I went home last night, and I know this because I talked to a bunch of the people that went through this with me, as tired as I was, I could not sleep. I didn't sleep till 5 o'clock this morning. And it was a restless sleep. So, with that being said, I also want to emphasize this one thing. Like she said, we need to move as one band, one sound. Okay? So, as she was saying, we need to trust the process. I have to emphasize this because there were some people that refused to leave last night when we were walking away. The smaller your group gets, when you decide not to listen, the more dangerous it becomes for you. anybody to get arrested. I don't want anybody to die. I don't want anything to happen to anybody. But at the moment that you stop respecting your leaders, you are no longer with us. These police are not ignorant to what is going on. They are expecting this shit to get worse. And they have, we already talked about it, hundreds of thousands of dollars to fund them killing us. I need everybody to think about the reality of that. We can't sit here and have 20 people in a crowd of 5,000 that want to do something different and act upon it before everybody's on the same page. Because you 20 people are costing the rest of us our lives. I also want to make it clear I've never been against the way that anybody wants to protest. I believe everybody has the right to express their anger the way they want to. I said it yesterday, like Malcolm said, by any means necessary. But even he moved as one group. One group.
Hey Lily, help him out.
Here, we have more hands here. I think we gotta.
Do you have my work cell?
Is that what I was texting earlier?
Add a number.
I'm gonna save it separately.
That's fine.
What do you got?
That's the one to call me on tonight.
8437. Alright, I'm
We
gonna
get
call you
split
so
up.
you have mine on there too. Yeah. Oh yeah. Fancy.
It happened on Monday, for my water, snacks, earbuds. And when his life was sniped out, people went on and they paraded for money.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, the same way that hit
I'm sending you another
for
number.
Mardi Gras, and I'm down for a parade myself, is the same way that I would expect that the way we can show up and shout out in solidarity when the nation is rising, we would not have been able to stand in solidarity with Minneapolis if they did not rise. Right? Right? So, you're telling me that the pigs can take one of us out and we're not going to rise? Our time is now. Our time is now. This list that I have only has 10 names on it. But I have tons of these at home. Because every single motherfucking time we have to do this, I keep adding names. And I add the names this way because I refuse to be silent when it happens. And it happens so often, I know my list is not even accurate. It happens so often, I'll run out of paper sometimes to keep the list going. But the names and the people and their families are real nonetheless. And so as we think about all of these Black New Orleanians who have been murdered, traumatized, terrorized, and their families are still dealing with that trauma. We're saying to New Orleans, we're not out here to ask for permission. We're not out here to shuck and jive with the mayor. We're out here to make demands. And when we get to our location at the end, which is the police court. Tomorrow night, we're going to Jackson Square. Because right here in New Orleans, when they told us it was not possible to take down these white supremacist monuments, and people said it's not going to happen, redirect your time, that's not important. They didn't understand those symbols represent systems that we are fighting today. And now that we have come down, if you pay attention to the news now, everybody's trying to take them down right now because they're trying to get people to comply. The New Orleans attorneys right here said, and I quote, when we were fighting to take those monuments down, they said, we better hurry up and take them down before our city burns. It's in a document, y'all. It's in a document, y'all. So if it is the case that we're not even talking about symbols or statues, but we're talking about real people, and we got real demands based on Black Lives Matter while they yet live, and you can't meet those demands, you were telling us that you don't give a fuck about your pride. That's what you're telling us. That's what you're telling us.
We've got a destination. Police headquarters. You heard that? You didn't hear that? They're going to police headquarters tonight, French Quarter tomorrow. So my feeling is if we have a destination, you can skip the march, get in the car, beat them there, wait for them there. I'd rather have all my shit with me, you know, not have to carry this. Let's let them pull out. Well, I mean, what's that? No, not at all. You should. I'll stay with him. All right, that's cool. All right. Hey, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Follows your wrist. You can use the thumb joystick if you need to. Otherwise, watch.
Gotcha. All right.
And down.
Am I live right now?
Oh, yep, you're live right now. Come in.
You guys rather dip?
What do you live on? Facebook? Or TV?
I'll
Facebook.
take Devin and him, or we can just meet over there.
Do you want me to drive my car or no? Just go with you.
Who's in charge right now?
Keith and Bean have both been texting me.
Person. You cannot watch all directions. I'll go in the destination. So that way, I'll be fine with the truck. Y'all just gonna sit there. As long as y'all not interrupting, I'll be fine. So yeah, when you go walk, all three of us gonna walk, so we can cover all your sides.
Probably. If you want to get out ahead of them, they're going to go on that side and be out on. They're going to go out on that
All right,
side.
cool. Let's go. All right, I'm about to go on the other side.
The second category for the set of demands, understand that you currently invest 65% of the city budget into cops, jails, and reactive military. You only invest 3% and 1% into children and families and job development. It's bullshit. So even if I add that together, 63% cops and jails, 4% children, families, job development. We need the budget to be flipped. When we asked Mr. Jesse in his community, 54 black households in the upper ninth ward, the desired area, sitting in boarding house on toxic soil. It became people. It took a year and 3 months to get a motherfucking meal. You kids, grandpa, you care about black lives. You got these households sitting on toxic soil that the industrial complex has laid on that soil, sold these homes to black people in the name of affordable
Yeah, it's up there. It's a spot.
Right there on the Hooligan here, too, third floor.
Right behind you, man.
Do y'all need any information on what to do with him?
It's been that long though.
We don't have the resources. We broke. Get it. Find it. Make it happen. Get on the motherfucking phone and call somebody to cut the check the same way you do for everything else. I'm going to ask right now that if you care about the things we talked about, there's a the thing is, ain't nobody out here homeless. People are houseless, but not homeless. So wherever you gotta go, I'm not here to tell you. But you gotta find a place to go. All right. So I'm gonna ask Mr. Jesse. I'm gonna ask Biggie, and I'm gonna ask some scriptures. You'll come down here for a second. I'm gonna demonstrate something to you. I'm gonna ask you more about the things just second example, Mr. Jesse asked you to be I'm gonna ask you to face that direction. And I'm gonna ask you, Mr. Jesse, you're in the military, so you know we have to get formation to put our arms up. So let's put these arms up on both sides, Mr. Jesse.
Excuse me?
Let's script it. Biggie, same thing. want you to pretend like there's an arm's distance of one more arm in the middle and step all out. Mr. Jesse, don't move. Unscripted, move to the right. Biggie, move to the left. Give enough space for one arm. Put your left arm up. Put your left arm up. Okay. Somebody else? Quest, can you come down and switch out with Unscripted? Okay, Mr. Jesse, put both arms up. Okay, Biggie, spread out a little bit more. Spread out a little, step to the left. Step to the left more. More. Stop. They are in a formation. And they have an arm's distance between them. That is how we're going to get information for this march. Now, I want you to imagine in your mind what a battalion or brigade looks like. That's what this whole crowd is going to get into formation like. And there's going to be a line that's long as hell, that's fine. But it will be a message to the people throughout the city that we're serious and we're out here. There are going to be some times by which you're going to notice that the formation may not be perfect. We're not worried about that. We're worried about you maintaining a healthy distance and an organization that's going to help you stay safe as we move through these cars. The other reason that I'm asking you to maintain the formation as we sound tonight, and I want to know who's on that truck that needs to be identified. Make it fast. Make it fast. All right. You need to be clear. Because when you roll up on a group of people like that, we don't know. We're not playing. Be clear. So if you're with us, fall in line. Fall in line because we're ready to go.
Back to the press.
Come on. Remain peaceful, everybody.
Be clear. It's all peace. I just want to know who you are.
Organizer need to come speak.
I want to know.
Peaceful.
Move up a little bit. Y'all move out the street so the truck can come through. Moving up a little bit.
We don't want no rubber bullets because that's still bullets, baby.
Yeah.
One band, one sound. Let's fall back in line. Let's fall back. We good. Fall back behind. Fall back. We family. That's how we roll. This is good. Fall back. We good.
Sirens.
We good. Because we got people all throughout the crowd, and we love you too, but we gotta know. Because when you roll up like that, it's not a game. We love you, but we gotta know. Let's go. We gotta make sure we're on the same page. Take the move out. Go on.
Good shot.
We good. We good, family. One band. One band. One band. One band. One band. Y'all should feel a little safe. That's scary. Fall behind the banner. Fall behind the banner. Fall behind the banner. If you're on the neutral ground and you pass, you family. You roll
is that right? Yeah. It's over the bell test. We out here together, babe. That's all they want. Oh, okay. Yeah.
This fence, and then before that fence you could be up there. You can't really see because it's a little dark. That's why they put these lights here so you don't see into the park. It's kind of to blind you, but behind those lights you will see military, and you will see military police. You will see the National Guard, you see the Secret Service, but unfortunately because those lights are so bright you can't see behind them. So this is the new wall. This wall runs across the whole Lafayette Park. So basically, behind those lights is the statue of Andrew Jackson. And then after that light, you'll have Pennsylvania Avenue, which is right where the White House sits. The White House is actually lit tonight, so I think you can see it if I step back a little bit more. But this is the crowd. This is the crowd. This is the new fence that was built. So a lot of people are referring to as Trump's new wall that is blocking the people's house from the people. So the White House is considered to be the people's house, but unfortunately they can't even get near it. U.S. citizens are being blocked. This is what people are saying, from reaching the White House, at least Pennsylvania Avenue, because of this new fence wall that is just keeping them out. And then behind this wall is the famous Lafayette Park. Let's see if I can zoom in so you can see where the military police is hanging out. Let's see if you can see them back there. They might be moving in the background. If you see them, you'll see the shields kind of like shining in the background. I'm gonna try to zoom in. They're kind of standing all along that.
Okay, yes, I'm currently holding the camera while Jay McMichael gets the pizza that we ordered. Let me, would you mind letting Alex know that I'm into the topic then? No. My security, I was talking to my security guy. He's going to sell out. We'll be ready. Yes, Uncle Jeff is saying. All right. I'm trying. Sorry. Yeah, they want them live at the top of the video.
The actual cover.
Seems to be doing pretty well. All right. Yeah, the ones we use on our microphone.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can see through those. I used to have 20/10 vision. But I can see, when you can see at 10 feet, I can see a camera. I had great eyes. I still have good eyes at distance. I got it. But it's like, you put a phone in my hand, I can't see. Like, I can't see it. That's when I start seeing it. I can't see. We'll be down straight tomorrow. Well, I hope they work something out with that. That would be cool if it worked out. You know, I I shot the story, and then it became really obvious when I was shooting the story that me and the guy got along very well with each other.
Just to see, they might not want to run tape. I mean, because
but it's all good. You know, it never fits. You set up like this, and inevitably a sign goes right up between you and the White House, or another camera.
Hi there, how are you? All right, well, this is the scene. You have people who have just weathered a very severe thunderstorm and stayed out here. They are back at the fence at Lafayette Park after having been pushed back last night. We have seen earlier today, and I'm hoping you can grab some video of this, of young people marching from the MLK Memorial to the Capitol, because that was a really touching scene of people taking the knee for 9 minutes. And then I'd like to talk about the pushback by the mayor and Nancy Pelosi about federal forces. Does that work? Are you going to be able to? Do you want to run video that we shot earlier today? Yes, it's our video of young people at the MLK Memorial, which was quite powerful, and them marching. Or do you just want to do the scene here?
Yeah, because we had like 3 different people before. So then we went up in the Irish Way. So we got all the people up there. That's on, I think, down on us, because we walked under the bridge and come up here, and we left and went to the Capitol. Oh, wow. This was from like 12 to 7. We ended at the monument. That's what decided, what's today? Thursday. Monday or Tuesday. 2 days ago. I can't remember. This is not a lot of people. We can get closer. They had another layer of 55, and then they had
I'm just going to pop up just to see the troops on the other side. Go. sorry.
So they drop the lights, so they're right in your eyes. So
Oh yeah,
you
good
can't
point.
see.
Yeah.
you have to stare for a while and then you can see the White House.
That's a good point.
Just block the lights out.
It's all National Guard, it looks like.
Yeah. All your fault. Well, that's why they dropped. That's why they dropped them.
So what do you guys think? Well, there you got another group. They always do this around Don's show, like that. That's fine. Jamie, Brian Todd was at the Lincoln Memorial earlier today, right? So Jay, definitely at some point I'll talk about the new fencing, the new bricks, blocks rather, the lights.
He got his wall.
Huh?
He got his wall. That's what it is. They just sent you your arena. But now it's what? They sent you your arena. Now it's sent to you. Yeah.
It's a big then?
Yeah.
Well, so and this is definitely 100%. So this is the fence, and then the park behind it, and then I can't really tell who's behind the lights, but I imagine it's this. It's like this. I'm almost certain that it's National Guard back there, just judging from their things. But you know, like what I can say is people have been protesting all over town today. You know, it's kind of thin right now. A group of people just left, but then they often come back. And I want to say that people were at the Lincoln Memorial, they were at the MLK Memorial, they were at the Capitol, and you know, we just had this huge thunderstorm, so that's why it might be a little bit thin. But there's also, I want to make the point that there's no curfew tonight because they have been so peaceful and there were no arrests last night. No.
What you're doing is pointless! Pointless! Heartless! Empty! I'll see you later!
I want to say bye. I almost said it.
Yes, we are.
I'm with you on that. guys need a cut through during your live shot. So if he wants to point half of this, I can just go over and shoot going around. Okay. Now you guys just not go in them. Gotcha. Oh, don't do that. No.
Let's see the
Eddie, I say just shoot like the crowd and leave it on them just static. Because I'm going to go up over the fence. You know Eddie Gross? So whenever you see Manu Raji on the hill, it's Eddie. It's always Eddie. Me and Eddie used to work together before CNN.
Where?
And I've been at CNN 31 years.
Where?
This guy named Joe Tomko. We both learned how to shoot from this guy.
Huh.
He's a great guy, man. Single dad, put 2 kids through college on his own. Really good guy. Really good guy. Solid person.
We scoot down so we can at least.
Yeah. After the story, can we review and stuff like that?
What are they shooting?
They want to shoot cuts for whatever we're doing. So, like, what do you want to talk about that you want him to focus on? Like just a wide shot of the crowd?
Public, they give, yes, but I'd still like to respect their privacy. As this is a Facebook Live that I'm here to show you guys, not to like intimidate someone with my camera, unless I ask them a question and they decide to say, yes, I'd like to give you my answer. Hello, Oregon, New York. Thank you for tuning in. So this is what's happening, guys. It's pretty basic. Peaceful protesting. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because this is what's been happening all day. I have been moved by the amount of volunteers. This guy right here, he's been a little buddy of mine. He's still picking up trash. He's been like this all day. And of course I do the garbage. My friend, come here. I want to ask you a quick question. Come over here so the light hits you this way.
Okay.
So I've been telling my viewers over here, step back right there so I can catch you with your whole, right there, stay right there. So I've been telling you that you're kind of like my bud here when it comes to cleaning, because he's been doing this all day with me. I do the garbage with the bags, he does with the broom, and his, where are you from?
Originally Texas, but I live in Alexandria.
Texas. So he's from Texas, but he lives in Alexandria, and he does this all day. What time did you get here? Like 4 o'clock, and it's right now it's 10:25. So, and he's been doing this, the sweeping part, all day. And I commend him because he is a hero, unsung hero. No, but I'm telling them about your story now. He's an unsung hero that a lot of people don't see unless we show this, unless we show people like this.
We're just trying to keep it peaceful. This is just how I want to protest, you know?
Yes.
This is what I want to do.
So he cleans, he sweeps, and he just walks around, helps us clean. Thank you so much. He helps us clean. So he does that all day with me. So he does that. I do the bags with other volunteers who have joined. He's from Texas. He now lives in Virginia. And this guy is so nice. And I'm so glad that I got to meet him here. Because he's truly doing a service to his country, to the city, and then he's setting an example of what a lot of people should be doing instead of being home and complaining for whatever reason. He's doing it on his own as well, and it's really remarkable to see him just do that on his own. So these are the unsung heroes that you won't see on TV. It's the people who bring the water. It's the people who bring the snacks. It's the people who bring the sanitizers. He's doing it volunteer. He's a volunteer. It's the people who bring the sanitizers. It's people who bring. We have a lot of volunteer medics that come here and do. They set up triages, and they do it with no pay. And this is what it's all about. And that's why it's motivated me to come every single day and be here with these protesters for this cause. And I think this cause is going to lead to some changes. We hope that that's what's going to happen. Because this is a young generation who's out here. And they're being supported by an older generation of people who joined this cause along the way. And the crowds just seemed very diverse. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, gender, male, female, LGBT. Yeah, the cleaning guy is a rock star. Circula poca información en lo que respecto a los disturbios. Lo que se sabe es que existe un ambiente de caos. ¿Cuáles son tus sensaciones? Matías, perdón. La sensación de caos se vive diferente en cada ciudad. Por ejemplo, Nueva York ha tenido un poquito más de violencia. Washington también la tuvo, tuvo unos días de violencia. Cada ciudad tiene sus momentos de violencia. Y todo depende cómo respondan las autoridades y cómo respondan los manifestantes a que si quieren que se enfoquen en la violencia o en el mensaje que traen a las protestas. Entonces yo creo que eso es algo individual de cada ciudad y se maneja de una forma diferente, obviamente, los medios de comunicaciones. Por eso yo estoy acá mostrando lo que no a veces muestran en las noticias de Washington, para que la gente tenga otra perspectiva. He was asking this gentleman, he was asking that what was the sensation about, there's this idea that there's chaos in the United States. And I was telling him that it varies depending on the city or state. And some cities seem to be very peaceful, and some have been having trouble with the looting and the vandalism. Washington D.C. had vandalism in the beginning, but that seemed to change around. It was a 180 turn. It went from vandalism to no vandalism. Obviously, there has been more presence of various government agencies. The DEA is here, DHS, the FBI, the National Guard, CBP. A lot of people have criticized the excessive use of all these agencies to be here in DC, but I don't get to make that choice. Let's see. Okay, LA is still looting. Let's see. I am safe. A lot of people were asking me why I was teary last night. I got a lot of messages. I was not teary. Nothing happened to me. It's just that eventually, after 6 days yesterday, I got overwhelmed with all the love, the messages, and then everything that's been happening the last couple of days. You see a lot of people show raw emotions at these protests. You see the diversity, you see the love, you see the community coming together, and eventually that builds up. And this morning when I was having breakfast, I got very teary, very emotional, and I had to record it. I think it's part of this process of me being here at this protest to keep it as real as possible. I'm not here to front. I'm here to pick up garbage. This is another garbage area that we were fixing, but obviously we'll have to fix later after I finish this Facebook Live. We were organizing it, but then hell broke loose with the rain. We had a huge thunderstorm, and then everyone just started running and piling the garbage. But we'll get to that later. We'll fix it, make sure it looks nice before we leave. We just need some gloves, and then we're ready to go. But yeah, so we were doing our job, and then the rain didn't cooperate. How close am I to the White House? I'm about 150 yards from the White House. If you can see it, the White House is right there. I'm going to zoom in. Let's see if I can zoom in to the White House. I have to be back here actually for you to see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. They have these lights that prevent us from looking into the White House because it's kind of like to blind people so they don't look. You're gonna see. Okay, this is how close we are to the White House. So you'll see the statue of Andrew Jackson. I believe that's the statue of Andrew Jackson. And then you'll see the White House in the background. We're about 150 yards. Right now it's starting to drizzle again, guys. So I'm not sure how long this is. In August. So that should be interesting. It's also a day of mourning, so yes. So the crowds are expected. They are expected to grow over the weekend. They are expected to grow over the weekend if the weather cooperates. I'm not sure. I have to double check what the weather forecast is. But we're live from the White House, guys. This is not a pre-recorded Facebook Live. I'm going to show my face. I'm trying to social distance. The star doesn't mean anything, so please don't ask. So we're trying to social distance. I'm here live. It is, you can actually see my watch. It is almost 10:30 p.m. It's June 4th. Why did they let the protesters back in the fence? I think that they left the protesters be closer to the fence because there was a pending thunderstorm today, which was going to create a little chaos if it got, especially with the lightning and thundering. I don't know how authorities would be able to control people to not, run in whatever direction. So I think it was safer to leave the fence up and have people by the fence versus what we saw yesterday. Well, honestly, I think that the fence is safer. It gives people more space because before, see, now you have this whole avenue and then all this avenue for people to line up versus this tight space. This is where we were standing yesterday. So this is a tighter space versus having this whole avenue and this whole avenue lining up with Lafayette Park. It's much easier for people to stand there versus what they were usually used to before, standing over there. So this is the scene right now. It's actually drizzling again, so we don't know if it's gonna start. I don't know if you can see it on the I don't know if you can see it in the light. August 28th is the March on Washington. It's the anniversary. Yes, correct. It is the anniversary of Martin Luther King speech. Do you think the crowds are now smaller than they were? Actually, no. Yesterday was the biggest crowd so far. Yesterday, we, according to the reports, there was a crowd of 5,000 people, and that seemed to be the largest crowd. So now we're just waiting. Now we're just waiting for people. Now we're just waiting for people to see how they show up on Friday, Saturday. The weekend is probably busier because of people not working. As you know, some people work from home. I'm sure the story would be a little different if people were working in some of the office buildings. But remember, a lot of people from D.C. live in Virginia or Maryland. So that keeps them away. That keeps them away from D.C. in general. Un saludo desde Honduras. Okay, so this is what's happening. This is what's happening. Let's see if I can read some of your questions. Did the rain scare off the DOJ and the National Guard? They're still there. It's just that they're not that easy to see, guys, because these lights, the way they're installed, you might not be able to see it, but you can't see. They're made to blind you, kinda. They're made. See, if you get closer, you can't see behind what's behind the lights because they're so bright. They're so bright that you think that there's nothing back there, but there's a big line of National Guard and military police standing right behind them. It's actually, they put those actually for a specific reason. It's to have more visibility of the crowds, but for us not to be able to see them. You see how bright they are? You can't see anything behind it. So, everyone, okay, so I do not go to college in DC. I went to college in New Jersey. Watching from Florida. Hello, Florida. I love Florida. I used to live in Miami. Love Miami. Miss it. We're having storms here in southern West Virginia. Scheduled for this weekend in Charleston, West Virginia. I'm happy for that. That's awesome. Are you going to be live streaming tomorrow and the weekend too? So yes, I will be I'm going to try to live stream each night. I think people are more interested to see what happens during the evening hours versus the daytime. Everyone knows what happens during the daytime. It's the larger crowds. It's it's where the kids come, the dogs come. It's the most specific. I mean, well, I'll try to show videos of that, of course, but I like to chat with you guys when you are home in your beds, where you can watch in a more relaxed state, and you can answer your questions during the days. It's a lot harder for people to tune in, so I like to go live in the evening. Jesus Christ was considered a criminal. What does this say? Let me see. It is a federal tactic that was used at Waco also. Okay. I didn't know that, but good to know. All right, guys. So this is the fence. For those of you asking, I'm gonna kind of just step away back a little bit so you guys can see you see the two fences. So in reality, there's three fences. This fence, the one that's behind it, and then the one that is at the White House. This is the situation. This is what they did to the windows around this area just to prevent any vandalism. So this is what it looks like. It's a much smaller crowd, but like I said, the other crowd that's separated from this crowd usually goes around the city. And then eventually comes back when they walk around. Remember, Washington D.C. is not that big of a city. It's actually pretty small compared to New York or like a Los Angeles or even Miami. It's pretty easy to walk to and from a lot of places. So this is the fence. This is how high the fence is. So it goes all the way down there. So it's a pretty long fence, and then it goes all the way down to the end of H Street. Right now we are on H Street Northwest and 16th Street Northwest. So as you can see, there's a wall that was built here in our own nation's capital. According to the protesters. I'm not sure how many miles. What's the question? How many miles of what? What is going on Saturday? Everyone's saying that a lot of people are heading to DC on Saturday. I am not exactly sure what that is. I've been hearing 1 million people. That is a lot of people. So I'm not sure where they got that from, what sources. I still have to confirm that because it's very interesting to see. 1 million people is a lot of people. So I don't think 1 million people are scheduled. It could happen. That means they would have to coordinate a lot of buses and a lot of things with Washington D.C. for that to happen. And I have not heard anything officially from the mayor. I think the mayor would have to prepare the city for any type of event. Like 1 million people, I don't think. I think in order for that to happen, you need to have some planning if you want to have 1 million people in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. only has 700,000 residents. So 1 million people, that would be bigger than the actual city. Shout out from Pennsylvania. Hello, Pennsylvania. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. We're outside the White House, guys. Hey, we are actually close to the White House, which is very funny because you would think that yesterday we should have been here too, but they changed their mind and then they allowed us to be back at this fence, the famous fence. So what a lot of people are doing, they're hanging stuff off the fence. See, now the fence has become like a place to leave messages. People leave stuff on the fence. So people leave notes. People leave this type of stuff.
No.
Shout out from Kentucky. Hello, Kentucky, Texas, Chester, New Jersey. Oh, hello, New Jersey. Again, hello. You were here last night. So this is the situation going on here. It's pretty peaceful. We had a big thunderstorm, guys. Huge thunderstorm that came through DC today. It was pouring. The crowds were actually sticking through the thunderstorm. But it got so bad that I think people just said, you know what, I'll come back tomorrow, I'll come back this weekend. You know, they didn't want to maybe get sick from getting all wet. So it's actually gotten cooler. It's been 93 degrees today here. It's been very hot the last couple of days. So you can imagine what they can do to your body. So I actually applaud people who decided to leave peacefully. And they should be back tomorrow again to protest one more day. That will be day number 8 for the protests here in DC. Hello, Doris. Welcome. So they're saying, hey, hey, ho, ho, Donald Trump has got to go. So this is what's going on, guys. It's nothing, not a lot of things going on right now at this moment. I think I'm going to quietly just call it a night here in DC. I don't think anything is going to change tonight. The weather was a big factor in this crowd. The other crowds might be coming back. Obviously, now we have to find out tomorrow if we're going to be behind this fence or the military police is going to be on that end where we were yesterday. It all depends on the size of the crowds. So I have a feeling we might be back here tomorrow again at this fence. But we will find out because each day is a new surprise here in DC with these protests. We're expecting a lot of people this weekend, according to what I'm hearing. That's when a lot of people are expected to come out throughout the day. Remember, these protests start around like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then since there's no curfew, they can run till whatever they want. I'm not sure if with the bigger crowds they're going to impose a curfew. But because DC hasn't been on a good behavior, I don't think they're going to impose a curfew, especially if everyone has to get home. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to call it a night here from Washington, D.C. Thank you for tuning in. St. John's Church in the background. It's still standing. We're probably just gonna go home, relax, call it a night, and I'm gonna just show you one last time what it feels like to be at this fence. I always find it very interesting every time I come here. I've been to DC many times, and I've never ever thought that I was going to be behind a fence, guys, behind a fence, to be able to take a picture at the White House. Now you can't even take a picture at the White House. Before, you could stand there, whatever, and then on the other side, but not anymore. So here's your new fence, America. Here's your new wall. It's pretty tall. It kind of feels like I'm in jail. So there you have it. Close and personal. A look from DC. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to everyone who's tuned in from Texas, Florida, California, South Carolina, North Carolina. And I'm still waiting for that beer. So tune in tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Hasta luego. Chao desde Washington, D.C. Los quiero mucho. Un abrazo. I have to take this mask off because my face is itching. Bye, everyone. Talk to you later.